All right, we are here. We're gonna just let it fill up a little bit. Let our ego stroke a little bit. Pause. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Michael Dane. Joining me today is Mr. Amp Pooh. So how are you?
I'm doing good. Had a great day at work. Got to play with my baby girl in the park. And so I'm feeling good, sipping on this bitch drink, Smirnoff Ice Mango, but it do the job for me.
Did I freeze again? God damn, what is going on?
Got to pay them bills.
I guess so. Hold on, god damn it. Wow. I had this thing running for a while too, just like
wow.
Let it get out the way. Too. Yeah, that's okay. Right when we go live, but that's okay. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna jump back in. But Ampu's gonna do a little buck dance for us while we wait.
I don't have my coon filter, so I can't do that.
Hilarious.
What I'm talking about, there's this Snapchat filter that got your eyes super bugged out and make your lips super big and puffy. So I had a little fun with that with my baby girl. Okay. What about black on black crime?
Right on. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, dang, does it just keep acting up? What's going on? What's really going on? Welcome. Come on into the room or to the chat. We're going to say hello to all my people on YouTube and Facebook. We just got a little technical difficulty here, so stand by, but you can still hear us. So, but yeah, as you can see in the title, Sheila E made an announcement that she's going to be doing a biopic about her relationship with Prince. There we go. I'm not going to touch nothing. And we're just going to talk about it, chop it up a little bit. And we're also going to take some phone calls too. So you guys have an opportunity to jump in and conversate. God, this is ridiculous. What is going on? Okay, give me a second. Yeah, damn. Come on, baby. There we go. I think I got it this way. Absentee lover says they can't stand Sheila E. Is it really? I guess. I mean, let's be. God damn! It just ain't gonna work for me.
Who would play Prince in the biopic?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, let's be clear too. Before we get started here, we are talking about Sheila E. I know that the narrative somehow got a little twisted over the last couple years, but let's not act like this ain't Sheila E. Like she's been in the game for a very long time. She's been with Prince for a very long time. So, we're going to give her respects now. She's been putting in a lot of work. Let's get crazy.
I'm not in the hating camp, but I'm definitely in the side-eyeing camp. Again, I wasn't in their relationship, but it rubs me the wrong way that there's been this narrative of Prince's great love has been Sheila E.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously he's had a lot of loves throughout his life, as have a lot of men, right? And for a guy like
women.
And women. And he's been married twice.
Which to me should be, those are the great loves of his life. Those are the ones he gave his names to.
Right. Well, I'm asking, is Sheila E saying she was the love of his life? I mean, where does that come from, right?
It's just the way that she talks about him, the way that now she's doing a movie talking about her relationship, which of course is going to play up the romantic element to it. And just overall, the fandom has talked about Sheila E being, that's the one he should have married. That's the one he should have spent the rest of his life to. And she's, Lemon Cake. We can't forget about the Lemon Cake song.
Right, right.
So yeah, I'd say it's a tad bit of side eye to that. Again, I don't know how much they were in love with each other, how things were going, but I feel like at the end of the day, who he married? Betty Crocker. Okay.
Yeah, they got jokes tonight. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, my camera is just tripping, so I'm gonna have to switch to the old school webcam. How about that? Will that work? Because I'm just not working tonight. I don't know what's happening, man. Hold on. And we're not gonna stop because
this is a business, and you ain't too far gone to see that yet.
There we go. I guess I'm gonna just do it like this. God damn. But here we go. So
Wait. Apollonia said Prince called Sheila he, she. Okay. I need some background on that.
that's some wild comments right there. I mean, listen, um, I love me some Sheila E. That's what I'm saying. Let's be clear. Yes, we can side eye uh, all of that, but I I only know a limited amount of information about their relationship. I wasn't there personally, so I don't have no inside track. I've never met either one of them. You dig? All I can go by is just what I've seen over the years. And, and I'm an old school fan. So from back in the day, we always saw Sheila E. Prince went hard for Sheila E, right? Glamorous Life, Romance 1600. She was opening in the Purple Rain show, Love Bazaar. I mean, he laced her with hits, right? Who, Love Bazaar, that's the joint. Glamorous Life. What's the, all three of her Paisley albums, in my opinion, are dope.
Put her on Erotic City.
Erotic City, another classic smash. And she's a hell of a musician. Let's keep it a buck.
Can't deny that.
So let's not act like she don't deserve some props. But I do understand, after Prince's death, sort of the way that it seems like she positioned herself. Again, I'm an outsider looking in, so I get all that. But so I'm just saying, yeah, we can certainly side eye and all that good stuff. But I just want to make sure we gonna give her respects too. We're talking about Sheila E. We're not talking about, somebody just had a one album by Prince or one song he may have touched on, or what I mean, like she was been around. The Love Sexy show, Sign of Times. Stop it. So when we thinking about Sheila, yeah, we having fun and stuff, but remember,
use your common sense.
So let's not get too crazy with it. But we really want to hear what you guys think about it as well. Now, of course, a biopic, a Prince biopic. We've talked about this many a times, speculated, and you've heard things. Now here's Sheila E's coming out saying, I'm gonna do a biopic. And I think we got that. We put that on the screen here real quick. I believe we had it, or we did. Hold on one second. Let's see what Sheila's talking about. Hopefully this is it. Yeah. So here's Sheila. It says, coming soon, Sheila E to release Girl Meets Boy, a film telling the beautiful story of her time with Prince. Stay tuned. Okay. We don't know if that's I don't know if there's a theatrical thing going on anymore. Anyway, but is it like a real movie? Is it on some Lifetime type stuff? Is it is she just making it and it's going to be some sort of online type of thing? I mean, we got questions, right? Like, what does that mean? Who's behind this? Is the estate a part of this? And the bigger question for me is, who's playing Prince? Because that's the one that's like, well, yeah.
Now I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna be wild and just drink a Smirnoff Ice. I say they should get Dave Chappelle.
Wow, that would be a lot of clowning.
Yes. Go ahead, Dave Chappelle, because at least we get the respect. It's like you can't really, it's really hard to find someone that can pull off everything that Prince was. So in my opinion, I feel like you might want to go in the opposite direction. Someone who's going to have fun with it, who loves and respects and honors him, but at the same time, not going to take it serious enough that I have to embody Prince like people are looking for.
Not. As much as I love Dave Chappelle and I love the jokes and all that kind of stuff, him playing Prince, that would be disrespectful. That'd be mad disrespectful. I'm not with that at all. Nah. It would have to be a Dave Chappelle spoof thing, but some actual like telling a real story, that'd be mad disrespectful. Nah, you can't do that, man.
Deja Green suggested Bruno Mars. Now, I think he can pull off the energy. I think he can pull off the musicianship needed, but I don't think that boy can act.
Yeah, I've never seen him doing any acting, so I can understand why somebody would say that. But I personally think you need to find somebody who's almost an unknown and can act, because no matter what, the scrutiny behind this is going to be ridiculous. Particularly from Prince fans, like they're going to chew that apart, you know.
And don't forget Black Twitter.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, you look at this recent Salt and Pepper thing, right? I don't know if you've seen the Salt and Pepper movie, but the casting on that was shoddy at best on certain things. But I'm looking at it from perspective of I was a heavy Salt and Pepper fan. I've been watching them from day one and sort of know the story. So, looking at it like that, really? That's Martin? Or I even was like, that how you gonna have Salt looking? But from like my mom, for instance, who surprised me and watched this thing, and from what I'm seeing from some younger people, maybe it doesn't have to always be spot on visually if you can capture the essence of the person and at least sort of project like what it felt like for that. It's not going to be perfect, but you got to think too, like the frame of reference for Prince, you got like the original fans, the older people. Obviously most Prince fans, I say slow down, most Prince fans are probably a lot of older, right? Because they were from fans from back in the day. And then you have younger fans who may have not experienced it back then, but know him more so from videos and things they've seen on TV. And so maybe they don't have such as a stringent sort of like, it's got to look exactly like him. And, the mannerisms and his essence got to be exactly spot on. I think there's a balancing act. Again, I don't know what level of this thing is she's talking about, if it's something she's just putting on herself or if it's, going to be big money behind it. Are they going to have, the music in this? That's another question.
Oh, well, considering what's going on with the estate, they probably like, hell yeah, because they want to get those streaming numbers up.
Possible. What music is going to be, is she trying to use some of the Warner Brothers stuff, which is what her stuff would be, right? So I don't know. I mean, it could be a whole thing, but I'm curious, man. I'm very curious. One, I'm more curious how she would do it as opposed to the story. Like we can sit here and argue she wasn't the love of his life, and I don't know how we know all these things, but we could argue all of that. But you can't argue somebody telling their life story unless you know that person is, oh, now he lying or she lying. But if they were like, somebody said, well, where's the receipts? How you know she lying? Well, in the magazine it said, well, in the books I read, you might kind of come off a little more crazed. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
I was gonna say, back to your point as far as who they would get to play Prince. I kind of recall, and yes, who I'm about to name is nowhere on the level of Prince, but I'm thinking back to the New Edition and the Bobby Brown movies on BET, where the actor they got for Bobby Brown, Bobby Brown is not on that level of Prince, but he is definitely a character. We've seen him in the videos. We've seen him act a fool in real life. We saw him on the Being Bobby Brown reality show. So we got a sense of him and his personality. But who they hired, and I'm sorry, I don't know that brother's name, to play him, he did the damn thing. And he's been
the same dude from Power, right? He was
Power, right. Yeah. And it wasn't a one-hit wonder either, because he's doing the damn thing on that show as well. Right. Another one is Jason Mitchell. We didn't hear about that brother before Straight Outta Compton, and he knocked it out of the park. In my opinion, he was robbed of an Oscar.
Right. It's I think the thing with, Prince was such a private guy. Most of us don't know what Prince was like off stage. We mainly only saw Prince when he's being Prince, like, the performer guy, or he was always on. You never saw him really like off time. Most of us didn't get to see that. So it'd be curious to what frame of reference do we have? A lot of us don't have a frame. All we have is just the performance Prince, what he presented to us. We didn't see the day-to-day guy type of thing. So that would be interesting too. Like, you know, there's a lot. He was a very private dude. So we didn't know. So that's why I'm curious if they ever portray Prince on anything. Anytime we see a portrayal of him not being the very controlled performer, or, you know, even when he's doing his interviews, and we don't see we don't see the side when you know, he's doing his rehearsals or he's negotiating a deal or something. We don't see that side or he's trying to holler at a female. We don't really see that. Everything we've seen is, most people would base what they saw on Purple Rain. Give me that there in the book. Like, you think he really is spitting that, like, but that's, you know, that's a scene out of a movie. So we have no idea how he really gets down. So it's,
well,
it's
I mean,
go ahead.
I'm like, well, I mean, because you're talking about that scene and I'm being petty, but I mean, Jill said that kind of was his get down.
Okay, well, she'll be another person to reference thing off. But that's what I'm saying. Like, we can only go by what somebody else said, right? So it's about who has the credibility, I guess, and who do you believe in? You know, as my man Pac would say, like, we would say, somebody say Jill, and they would, oh yeah, instant credibility. Listen to what she said, and shout out to Jill. That's my homie. And then, because of a couple of events that have happened in the last couple of years, do you want to side eye Sheila E, right? Like, I don't know. But I'm curious what you guys are going to say. We're actually going to open up the phone lines. So if you want to jump in this conversation, call that number. Let us know what you think. And again, remember,
use your common sense.
You know, because you don't want to get clowned.
Real quick, Alze Tone, I guess that's how you say that. They said, what do you guys think about Raspberry Beret being used in a Dior ad? I think that goes against Prince's wishes because he didn't want his music to be commercialized.
In a what ad?
In a Dior ad, I guess.
Is that something that's happening?
Apparently, yeah. In a commercial, I guess.
Well, Prince has done commercials before, right? Didn't he do something for Verizon where he was in the commercial? You know, he's done.
But I think it was for his music. But so I think in their minds that's different.
Yeah, right. They're still they're getting paid either way,
right?
I mean, I don't. That's a tricky thing. So if you start going down there, what would he do? Type of thing. You know what? Then what he would have done is we wouldn't have had the Sign of the Times box set. We wouldn't have had none of this stuff.
Well, actually, I think we would have, because remember he did work on Purple Rain.
But he didn't.
If they pulled the dump truck with the money, I think he would have done it. But I get what you're saying.
I mean, so I don't know. I mean, so as far as his stuff being a commercial, me personally, as long as it's respectful,
right?
You know, to his legacy, or at least it don't seem like it's too far out there. Like, would I want to see his music being used in a Popeyes commercial? No, but you know, okay. Somebody said I'm gonna step up. Hopefully, I can answer this. Caller, you on the line? What's your name? Where you calling from? Can you hear me, caller?
My name is Cindy. Hello?
Hello. What's up?
Yeah, I believe nothing. Nobody can portray Prince. I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm a diehard Trent.
What's your name first before we get started?
My name is Cindy Poole.
Cindy Poole. Where you calling from?
North Carolina.
Okay, that's what's up. So you saying nobody could play Prince?
Nobody.
Now, so what do you think about Sheila E's announcement about this movie?
I love Sheila E. I love how she tried to portray, but far somebody playing Prince, nobody can compare to him.
Okay. Turn your sound down. I can hear myself speaking. But so you say nobody could play him. Is there?
Oh, let me put my
I'm sorry. What's your name again?
It's
Hello?
Cindy.
Cindy C, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me better now?
I hear you good. So, do you have any thoughts in terms of, Sheila E telling her love story about Prince?
Yeah.
Cindy, I'm gonna have to cut you off.
Yeah, I feel like that, okay, since she was engaged to him, I respect her dearly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to say nothing bad about her because, like I said, I respect any woman that Prince was with. But like I said, I can't imagine anybody paying Prince at all.
Okay, I feel you. All right. Well, Cindy, thank you for calling in. I really appreciate that. All right.
Thank you.
All right. You have a good night now.
I want to respond. Lynn Russell. Not Lynn Russell. Yeah, it was. They all need to move on and stop profiting off his death. It's been 5 years between her and Maite. They running a race. And to me, I look at it as this might be a little disrespectful. How much money did Prince make off of them? Putting out, you look at Sheila E's album, you look at Morris Day in the time, he put that out. Maite, he put those albums out. So he made money off of them. So to say that, he's dead and they need to stop trying to profit off of them, my thing is why? First of all, anybody that says they don't want to read these books or watch these videos or learn something that they didn't know about Prince, in my opinion, is lying their ass off. Let's bring them on.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that too in a second. Caller, what's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Kimberly Frazier.
Oh, Kim, what's going on?
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. Man. I had to come on here because this story seems like it's about to gain some traction. And I was first not going to say anything, but I have to say just a few things. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. First off, I would say, on one hand, yes, people have the right to tell their stories, to a certain degree. But if the person in their lives that they're talking about was a private individual, didn't talk too much about their personal private business, I kind of feel that it's a bit exploitative, it's a bit opportunistic, and overall, I kind of feel like it's a money grab. Sorry, but that's just how I feel.
I got you.
I wasn't hot on Maite coming out with her book. I even did like a review on that. And I'm not hot on this either. Like, why wait till after the man is gone? Why not do this stuff while he's alive? You know why? Because he probably would have blocked that shit. Just saying.
Right.
So I just feel like it's a tad bit disrespectful. And I feel like during, COVID going on and people, the money is drying up. Clearly, you could see because people are getting desperate. A whole lot of these celebrities out here got podcasts and shit. And, she's got her own little talk show on YouTube somewhere. And now she's coming out with this. I feel like it's a money grab. I feel like, the well of money is running dry on her end and she has to find some kind of way to make some bucks.
Well, let me ask you this. Can you hear me, by the way?
I can hear you fine.
Okay. So,
can you hear me?
You're saying it's I don't think that's maybe a problem. But so in terms of the money grab aspect of it, and making money, and as my man Billy would say,
this is a business, and you ain't too far gone to see that yet.
But would we have the same? Would we have the same energy about being a money grab and stuff for his estate? Like, one, we don't even know the people who are really profiting off of Prince's money. And stuff that's going on. Obviously, we know it ain't Muslims. It ain't the family, and it ain't Prince because he's dead.
Obviously, it's not the family.
Right.
I mean,
so who's
I've
making
had the same energy back when?
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying. So I mean, we coming. Some of us are coming for Sheila a little bit, but we still buying all of the box sets, and we're watching the videos and all this stuff, and it's going into some mystery trust fund that we have no idea where that money is going, that we're buying all these products. You see the IRS and the state have some issues. Somebody's getting paid.
Right.
Somebody's getting paid off this.
Yeah.
Historically, we would imagine that it's probably not Black folks getting paid, right? So when we ask,
I would
right,
venture to say, yeah, Black folks are definitely not getting paid. But I felt the same way back when Comerica, I guess that's what they're called, when they hosted, a crappy ass listening party for Justin Timberlake's album over at Paisley Park, knowing full well that Prince had beef with him. They didn't like each other. They wasn't cool like that. That was disrespectful on that level.
I'm sorry, who was she talking about?
From that point, that the people behind the scenes, they don't have his best interest at heart, and it's just more of the same right now. Now, granted, Sheila and Prince, they did make wonderful music together, and that's great, but I feel like now coming out with this, girl meets boy or boy meets girl, I just feel like it's opportunistic. I'm sorry, I do.
Well, I would say it is opportunistic. I guess I would ask the question. I'm not arguing with you per se. I'm just, aren't all products and things about opportunities though?
Yeah, and that kind of goes along with the whole capitalism thing, which I think should just be done away with too.
All right, that's another podcast.
Yeah.
That's a whole other can of worms. But I mean, to me, like, if Sheila E wants to get out here and get her bag, if Morris Day wants to get out here and get his bag,
okay, well that's fine.
Then I'm not having no problem. That's their life. They selling their life.
Why can't she do it on her own name though? Why does she have to do it on Prince's name?
Because she came in the game on Prince's name. That's why.
Yeah, but she also did other side projects without him, right?
Right, but the opportunity in the bag is on this. Why would she go with something that nobody ain't trying to see?
True.
It just don't make no sense.
Yeah, on the one hand, but it just smacks of desperation and just, let me get this quick old money bag. And I wonder too, because the other person that's been vocal about this is Apollonia. I can only imagine what she has to say about this, because she went off on her last time when she had something going on. So I can only imagine how she feels about this.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really comment on that. Everybody got something to say about it. I kind of find that some of that type of stuff might be a little off code, calling some of your own people in your camp, calling them out like that in public, but that's not for me to really get into. But I mean, it is what it is. Sheila E, that's what I'm saying. But my thing is we're talking about Sheila E. So it would be different if it was like Sheena Easton or something that came out and was like, y'all know, I'm gonna tell y'all a story y'all didn't know. Prince is trying to really get at me. I did sugar walls and this other. It would be like, we don't really know your history. Where's your receipts? But this is Sheila E. Like, she was there. I mean, it's hard for us to argue what was said between the two of them because we wasn't there. Now, somebody like Kat didn't want to step up and they was there. They can speak on that, but I don't know. I guess.
But I think, with the certain stories that I've heard about her, like, okay, he did kind of propose to her on stage, but it was that little brief kind of in the moment type deals. It wasn't like an actual real engagement. And she's just taking that and just run with it.
Shit. Now, I hear you. Now, I would have ran with it if I had known Janet Jackson and I was like the water boy for the Control tour or something, and Janet was just feeling it one day. Right. She said, "Would you want to marry me?" I'm like, "Yes, Janet." Nigga, I'll come out 20 years later. Yeah, she said she wanted to marry me, y'all. My book is coming out. The movie. I'll be cashing like a mother.
Oh my God! But I mean, I say all that to say that she's had other folks that she has worked with. She worked with Carlos Santana.
Mm-hmm.
She's worked with a whole plethora of people. Like, you know, yeah, there's plenty of people that she could have talked about on this. She didn't have to specifically just zone in on Prince and say that this is all about him. Like, because we've heard the stories over the years anyway. You know, at least some of the stories.
Some of it.
Like, why do a biopic? Why do all this? Like, come on. And whoever they're gonna get to do Prince, he ain't gonna be good enough to play Prince anyhow. Like, I was really harsh on that Mark Anthony dude. Granted, he looks just like him, but the acting chops at that time was not there.
Who are you talking about?
Who are we gonna get to play Prince?
Who's Mark Anthony?
Wait. Named Mark Anthony. He's a Prince impersonator.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He's got a YouTube channel.
Okay, I have to check that out. Shout out to Mark Anthony.
Yeah.
Maybe I do know it is tripping out right now. Okay. Well, I mean, hey.
Yeah, I mean,
they got to get somebody.
They got to get somebody. But
they got to get somebody for sure. Well, Kim, thank you for that. I know we want to shout out your podcast, YouTube channel. I saw you was your last video something to do with what's that? Actually, it was the young girl that Prince put on.
Yeah, I had to go back and look at that video too. Danny Lee.
There you go. What's her name of that song she had?
I was like, what? Danny Lee or Danny Lay. I guess that's how you say her name. I had to look back at that video. It did not look like her.
Yeah, man. What's her little song controversy she got now? What's it called? Like Yellow Bone or something? Was it?
Yeah, Yellow Bone. Talking about, she's being colorist and racist too on top of that. But, she was really bothered by her boyfriend's baby's mother, Mimi. So she felt the need to come out and low-key attack her by saying, well, he likes me because I'm a yellow bone. Like, look, you're a white Dominican. Get over yourself. You're not even that attractive anyway. You have to wear at least 9 miles of makeup in order to make yourself look passably attractive. Get over yourself.
Well, there you go. Kimberly Frazier, what's the name of your YouTube channel so people can check you out?
The Quiet Storm.
Quiet Storm.
Absolutely. The Quiet Storm with Kimberly Frazier.
Yes. And she keeps it a buck over there at all times. Leave your feelings at the door. Come in. Tell you the truth and nothing but. But we appreciate it. Thank you for calling.
Wait. Before she hang up, tell her that Ampu just Googled Dana Lee and she is attractive.
All right. Ampu is over here caping for Dana Lee or whatever, but we're gonna let that go. She left already. Thank you, Kim.
Oh, that's the girl from The Breakfast Can Wit.
Exactly.
Kim, come on. I sense a touch of haterade in there.
She was talking kind of greasy, but this ain't.
No, but she's not attractive. I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha.
She is.
Well, let me just reset a little bit. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the Sheila E biopic announcement. Was it Girl Meets Boy? Which ties into, didn't she have a song called that, right? A little while ago. But so we want to hear what you guys have to think about it. We are here live, so you can call in. The call-in number is 206-965-9302.
I'm gonna be petty. Why didn't they name it Love Bazaar? Like, that's way more fitting.
That would be. And there's a lot of things she could call it, but I guess she's trying to have some synergy, and because it's in her song. I'm gonna say this about Sheila E. Sheila E. Is a hustler, and I mean that in the most positive way. Like, she stay getting her stuff popping, and I'm not mad at that on a certain level. We got another caller here.
Stop it, Kimberly. She is.
Oh, caller, are you here?
Hello.
What's your name?
Deja,
how you doing, Deja? Where are you calling from?
Federal Way, Washington.
Oh, you know what's going to be so funny as I'm probably like 5 minutes away from you.
You want me to leave the chat?
Hilarious. So what do you think about Sheila E's move?
Wait, what did you say?
No, I said, what are your thoughts on the Sheila E announcement?
Okay, can you hear me?
I hear you. We hear you very well. Yes.
Okay. So I seen her Instagram post, Sheila E's Instagram post, and you know, I was kind of side eyeing it a little bit, but I am still open to see what it's about, what it's gonna be about. But I seen a comment in the live chat, and somebody said, well, she already made a book, so what else more is there to tell? I guess he wants us to have a visual of everything of, I guess, what went down between her and Prince. So
right. Well, I mean, you know, a lot of books get turned into movies too.
Yeah, that is true. But also Ampu at the beginning, I had to agree with what he said. You know, I don't really like the narrative of, you know, this big, like she was just like the biggest like romance of his life. Because to me, in my opinion, if that's the case, why wasn't she his wife? Why didn't she become his wife? You know?
Okay, that's a fair question. There's probably, I think a lot of people though could have loves of their life that they didn't get married to and might have got. I'm not saying she was a love of his life, but I mean, you know, Prince had a lot of ladies.
Yes, well, because we all know, like, Prince was a thought back in the day, but still, you know, I just yeah.
Okay, let her know that men are not thoughts.
Okay,
We're
he had a lot of women, but she was the one that was around. You know, she was around for all those years, and to me, I feel like, you know, you know, if it was such a big romance and, you know, and all this stuff, like, she should have became his wife. That's just how I feel. But, you know, I don't really like that narrative that, you know, all that was going on.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. What was your name again?
Deja.
Appreciate you calling. You said you're in Federal Way, Washington. So you a hometown Prince fan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That's what's up. How long you sound kind of young. How long you been into Prince?
I've been into Prince, I'd say, for about 2 years now. I've been really getting into his music and his videos, and I've been watching your podcast. You know, you interviewed a lot of people that worked with him, so it's really nice to hear the insight and, you know, hear stories and really learn about who he was, you know, as an artist and everything.
Okay. What you said for 2 years? What got you into Prince?
What'd you say?
What got you into Prince?
I really don't know. It's kind of, I just, because I know when he died, you know, people will always talk about how he dressed and how he was, you know, he was kind of feminine. And I noticed a lot of times people always talk about how he always was into women. So I was like, I have to look into him because I said, he sounds interesting. So I just really got into his music. And I remember watching, you know, the Purple Rain movie years ago. And so, you know, I really just got into him through that. You know, it's kind of interesting, but yeah. But I've appreciated him ever since.
Do you have like a favorite album?
I really like a lot of his stuff, but I really am into like his early 90s music. I think he, you know, was going like that kind of hip hop route a little bit. I really am into that. Prince.
Okay.
That was kind of like my favorite era.
Nice. And now nobody don't know who you are. Nobody will know you here. So what's your age? I'm just very curious. Like the younger fans, I love it. Like, how old are you?
I'm 18.
What? Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. 18-year-old getting into Prince. That's what's up. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, Deja, thank you so much for calling in and giving your perspective. Your perspective is excellent because we don't really get to hear from a lot of younger people on what they think about Prince. So I really appreciate you calling in.
Yes, I'm glad I did.
All right. You take care.
Yes, you too.
All right.
Bye.
Man, shout out to Deja. That's my daughter's age.
Yes,
God damn it. That's crazy.
Hey, absentee lover, I need you to respond.
What's going on, man?
Hold on one second. Go ahead.
Absentee lover in the comments, they put, did Prince chase women that look like Sheila?
I'm sorry, caller. Hold on 1 second, caller. Can you hear me? Caller, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, hold on 1 second, sir. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I couldn't hear what you said.
In the comments, the YouTube comments, absentee lover said, did Prince chase women that look like Sheila? I need you to expound upon that. What are you trying to say there?
Okay, go ahead.
All right. And caller, if you can turn down, you got to turn down the video, man, because we can hear that. And what's your name, caller?
All right. My name is Joe.
Joe, where you calling from?
Calling from H-Town.
Oh, okay. That's what's up. What part?
Actually, Humble.
Okay. We got some family out in that.
Humble, Texas.
Out there in Houston. So what's your thoughts on this, man?
Well, I don't have a problem with it. Because she's known him for just as long as anybody else has, I think the main thing is if she can have some consistency to it,
Okay.
But I don't have any problem with it.
Could you see somebody playing Prince?
Ooh, man.
That's where it gets
how about you?
I'm the type of person that there's always somebody who can play somebody. Like, we've seen James Brown on screen. We've seen various Michael Jacksons on screen.
Yeah.
So there's somebody that can do Prince. That that to me, it's like limiting my mind if I don't think that that's possible. Would they actually be an exact duplicate of Prince?
Well,
it's hard to say, but people, there are dope actors out there that can really embody somebody.
Oh yeah. Well, I think I'm around the same age as you are. I'm maybe I got you by a couple of years, but back in the day, in the early '80s, I had a homeboy. He actually could almost pass for him.
Okay.
And when we would go to the malls, shopping malls, oh man, I mean, girls just go crazy. This was like, he's like one of those kind of the Prince / Elder Bard lookalike type.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he had the 80s on lock. I imagine.
Oh yeah. Oh yes sir. Yes sir. And what's funny about it, he's like a year older than I am, but he doesn't look his age, because we're both in our mid 50s. So
gotcha.
I they want to give a shout out to him.
Okay.
His name is Ruben.
So it sounds like you've been a long time Prince fan.
Oh yeah. Man, I want to say, I appreciate you. I appreciate your, your platform, what you do for Prince, because there's a lot of us brothers out here, man. And you don't really see too much of him, in the music scene these days, And I just want to, give you props for kind of keeping him,
I mean,
on the scene.
thank you for that, man. I know exactly what you're saying, and I appreciate that. Yeah, man. I mean, you, man, I grew up on Prince and Mike and all them cats, man.
Yep.
And we don't ever want to forget them, man. Like they did a lot.
Yeah.
I
also wanted to mention this too. This is kind of like off the subject, Mike, but I know you grew up in the Seattle area, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And I grew up in San Antonio, Texas. So it's almost kind of like the same. We grew up in kind of the same situation demographically.
Okay.
Me being African American, you the same. We had like a small R&B station, in San Antonio. So like the biggest thing in Texas back in the day was here in Houston and of course Dallas.
Okay.
But we would always, you would always hear music, here in Houston that you didn't hear in San Antonio. So
okay.
But yeah, man, I always try to tell the youngsters, man, like how bad he was. It's funny. and then watch these old videos. They're like, what? He did this, he did that, what?
Yeah, man. Well, I don't know if you heard the caller before you, young lady that was 18 and she just got into Prince a couple years ago, man. So that's dope. Like it's still out, you know what I mean? Saying he's still affecting the youth and the kids, So that's dope.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna say,
sir.
man, like I don't know if I've said this before, but I first heard when I really saw Prince how big it was and had no idea what it was. I was in Houston, Texas when I used to go visit with my family out there back in like 1980, 81. And they was all on Prince. Like he had the neighborhoods on lock. And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, so yeah, Houston always held Prince down. Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the church, man. Bro.
Okay, I already know.
So
I already know.
The first time I saw him, it was a Controversy album somebody brought to high school. I was in 11th grade, and I thought it was. I had no idea who he was. I thought it was some Mexican guy dressing up.
Right.
I had no idea. I didn't know what. And the first time I heard him was like, I thought it was a woman. I thought it was a heavyset sister singing "I Want to Be a Lover." I had no idea. Heard him on the radio. I'm serious.
No, I feel you because I'm pulling this out. But when I went to Houston, my cousin, who was like a sister to me, had this on the wall, yo, and I didn't know who the hell this was, but my grandmother saw this on the wall. She ripped it up. Shh, not in this house. And that's why I was like, man, okay, Prince, this is somebody.
Well, look, man, my wife is 15 years younger than me, man, and
okay, I see you.
She has like no idea how big he was. I can just tell her. She's like, oh, okay.
How long you been married, man?
12 years, man.
12 years. Well, salute to you, sir. You got a young wife. You're doing your thing out there, boy. I feel you.
Trying to, man. Trying to.
Well, yo, man, I appreciate you calling. I'm sorry. What was your name again? Tell me your name. I'm sorry.
Joe.
My man, Joe, San Antonio, Texas. Man, thank you so much for calling. We got people trying to call. I want to give everybody a chance to come on, but thank you, Joe, for calling in, man. I really appreciate that, man.
All right.
For real. All right. You have a good one.
All right.
Peace. Some folk in the chat were asking who's going to play Sheep.
Uh-oh. We got another caller on the line. Who is this?
What's going on, man? You know what? I've stumbled across this. I'm plugged into your channel, and I'm so grateful for what you do. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
I'm 55. My name is Steven. I'm from Milwaukee. I just wanted to say that the very first concert in my entire life was Prince opening up for Rick James in Milwaukee.
Wow.
At the Cooley Auditorium at MATC, Milwaukee Area Technical College. I begged my sister, she's my older sister, 11 years older, and I said, I had a job, worked at a custard stand. And I said, please, you got to take me. I'm buying the tickets. The tickets were $8 a piece.
Wow. Say that again. How much were they?
The tickets were $8 a piece.
Wow.
My sister took me. We took a picture in the wicker chair. You know the wicker chair? The big wicker chair that they had at concerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. We took, man, listen, Prince, it has been such a part of my life. I've taken the VIP tour twice. My daughter's 21. She's a college student in Houston.
Nice.
And I took her up there. It's so wonderful to hear other young people now appreciating so many aspects of what this gentleman did. Now, I'm so far away from, just let me say this. I'm 55. I'll be 55 next month.
Okay.
I grew up, we had pimps and hoes where I grew up.
Okay.
And, the women wore dresses, they walked down the street, they look sexy. I'm a little kid. They would look at you, let you get a little look, but they were women.
Mm-hmm.
For me to be a guy who could appreciate another dude who was dressing like women and dancing and had a high pitched voice. It's so far away from my thinking. This guy was off the charts with everything he did. And I really appreciate what you guys bring to the table. I am so far away from, you know, I'm not even androgynous. I'm regular dude. I'm a man. You know, I'm that dude that's gonna jump out like Lonzo in Training Day and get in your face. But I love this guy because he was so real. I wish he was here today because I wonder what he would say about all this lockdown, coronavirus business. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys get on. I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity. Stay blessed, man.
Man, thank you so much for calling. I appreciate you, sir. Really felt that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Keep calling in, y'all. I see y'all call in. The lines are open now. Man, there's some good callers there. Again, we are talking about the Sheila E announcement of possibly doing a movie. We're going to get your thoughts, but we'll take any other things you want to talk about. Caller, are you there?
Yo, Purple Underground in the building. What's happening?
What's up? Who is this?
Lenny B, L Boogie. What's happening, MD?
What's going on, man? Mr. Lenny, what's good with you?
I'm cool. What's up, Ampo?
It's good, sir. I don't think you can hear me.
I don't know if you can hear me. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to holler at him, you know what I'm saying? Because I'll be messing with him all the time.
What's your thoughts on this? Well, first of all, Lenny, you are part of the Purple Underground. Let people know what that is, man.
Yo, well, we're Prince, you know, fan page, you know, doing the same thing everybody else doing, you know, just trying to keep Prince's legacy alive and pushing good music, you know what I'm saying? Keeping the funk alive as well with other artists that all of the individual members grew up on. You know, I'm from Cincinnati, so you know I push Bootsy every now and then with Zap and Isley Brothers, James Brown, Midnight Star, you name it. You know what I'm saying? We Funk City too. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that's what we do with the Purple Underground. You know, we've been kind of the pandemic's kind of slowed us down to a halt.
It's been killing everybody, man. Shout out to your other brothers too that are part of that, man. Real cool cats.
Yeah. P. Ross, you know, and Good Luck Charm and CMS. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole crew.
Let me say real quick too. Hold on, real quick. And these brothers are real special to me because every time I have went to Minneapolis the last few years, they are always there. And these are the cats that no matter what, when I see them, I feel comfortable. Like that's my people's right there. Oh, okay. Lenny and them is here. I'm in there. It ain't nothing, you know what I mean? Like that's family to me. So I have a lot of respect for you guys, man, what you do. But go ahead.
Hey, appreciate it, man. We feel the same way about you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you was kicking it and doing it, you know what I'm saying, before we were. I remember, man, seeing you in like a video. I didn't know who you were. And I saw a YouTube video of you, and then back to back, Jesse. Jesse was doing a video. And I didn't know who Jesse was at the time. I said, who's this young guy talking about Prince? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And but I'm just glad that we all got a chance to hook up and meet, and the Purple fam. Then you know, we all kind of like grew friendship, and that's the most beautiful thing that really to me has happened after the Prince's passing. You know, everybody just comforting each other. You know what I'm saying? Through his music and through like I said, keeping his legacy alive. You know.
Yeah, man.
But I'm about to step in this purple octagon.
Go ahead. What's your thoughts on the Sheila E thing, man?
Well, my thoughts is after this horrible year of 2020, man, I kind of like did a whole 180 on how I feel about people just making money, man. The whole Prince thing, people, are trying to be Prince, like Prince's, police protectors of his money or whatever, right, which he cannot benefit from because he's not here anymore. So my take on it is, I'm really interested in just stories of different people telling their story of Prince. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's Sheila, Brown, Mark, whoever, because they were actually with him. Now, if it was the vendor at at Paisley Park telling the story, it might be a little different. But a musician who actually played with Prince and contributed to Prince's legacy. I mean, contributed. Wasn't no lapdog. Was a contributor to Prince's music, his sound, and was a badass musician themselves. I'm interested in hearing their side of the story. You know what I'm saying? I'm not into all of the fluff, did he ask her to marry him or not? I really don't care about that shit. I just want to hear her side of the story as far as how she met Prince. And she pretty much told it, but like, we've heard all of the stories before. Some of the stories we thought we knew until people got, a little more in-depth in telling their story. You know what I'm saying? Wally telling his story. Like I said, Brown Morris Day. I mean, his book was amazing. So I'm not into trying to tell somebody who was with Prince how they should, tell it. Or I'm thinking about this, man. Now I got a few people in the chat, saying, well, she should tell her story and why she got to use Prince.
Right.
Now, if Sheila E made any type of movie, documentary, or did an interview and mentioned everybody from George Duke to Michael Jackson, and it kind of just skimmed over Prince and praised Michael Jackson as being probably, the biggest genius she ever met and worked with, the Prince fan base would call her a traitor, man.
Use your common sense.
If she just kind of pushed Prince to the side. If Prince is the artist, and we know he was one of the greatest artists of all time, top 3 to me, up there with Michael. Of course, even though Sheila worked with Lionel Richie and she worked with George Duke, Prince is that dude to her. If he that dude to us, so she gonna talk about Prince. Prince stands out in her life like he stands out in our life. So she's definitely got to talk about Prince. So if she want to do, but I don't know what it is, a Lifetime movie, a movie, whatever about Prince, I'm interested, man. I watch it. You know what I'm saying? Because when I look at this whole year of 2020, musicians, man, they starving. They got to eat too, man. You know what I'm saying? They got to get paid somehow.
Right.
Right. So if her card to get paid every time is to pull out the Prince card, then so be it. Because who she's hurting? Who is she hurting? She need to make her pay for it. And as long as she do it in a respectful way, and she's not disrespecting Prince, like if she puts out something that totally just disrespects his character, where we look at Prince in a different light, where we go, man, dang, that's kind of off. You know what I mean? Whereas tearing his character down, or say something like, Prince lip syncing all the time. He never sang live. You know what I'm saying? He just told some flat out lies or something. Then I'd be pissed. But somebody just telling a story of how they met Prince or whatever, even if they embellish some shit, because they all do. Hey man, I ain't gonna stop them from making no money, man. Cause look, we in hard times, man. People dying out here, and we mad. We get some people getting upset because she gonna put out something about Prince. And like I keep saying, if somebody is pushing Prince and keeping Prince's name out there, it helps pushes his legacy. It keeps his name in the news. So Sheila E, somebody who, like you said earlier, she came in the game as far as commercially. Prince put her on. Everybody know her from Prince. So that is her claim to fame, basically. She had to talk about, I was with George Duke too. I did. Look, I was with Lionel Richie. Oh yeah, I just Michael Jackson. But that's only because of her time with Prince. You know what I'm saying? Like Morris Day in the time. I mean, how's Morris Day gonna tell a story without talking about Prince? How is Jesse Johnson gonna tell a story about, his life story without talking about Prince? I mean, it's kind of like illogical, like you said. Common sense. They got to talk about Prince, and Prince is the card if they gonna make some money. But it's like people act like it's a sin for them to make money off Prince, but Prince made money off them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, you made some good points. Like, it's not saying something necessarily disrespectful about him. She's saying that she had a relationship with him and all this other stuff, but it's not like she's not dogging Prince. And again, we don't know what their situation was like unless you was in that camp. I guess, yeah, I don't, why diss her?
I mean, that's what I'm saying. As long as it's not disrespectful. Now, if it comes out and it's disrespectful, like what in the hell? And the whole vibe of the thing paints Prince in a bad light, then I'll be upset. You know what I mean? Right. But just telling a story, I mean, people just getting upset going, he didn't ask her to marry him. I'm like, how you know?
Though? Where are the receipts at? How you
know?
Right.
You know what I'm
saying? It's like that's the first question I always ask. How do you know? Like, if you a fan,
right,
then you don't really have no type of, what do you know that she would know more about her situation? And I would love to hear that. The other question people ask, well, is it the truth? Is it fact or fiction? That's a very interesting question to ask with Prince because, in his earlier days, Prince was known to be telling tales. Like, he was spinning stuff and having fun with people and saying whoopty whoopty because he understood the game and he was trying to do deception and play with people. So it's hard to say what really is the truth. But again, unless she has shown you that she has a history of being deceitful or truths, then I'm not really seeing the issue. Like, I mean, again, I get it. Like, I understand why some people are saying this, but I would say then you should say that about everything, then, not just Sheila E.
Right. It's like the Muhammad Ali movie with Will Smith, where we know Muhammad Ali had infidelities, bro. Still doesn't take away from him being a great man and a champion, but he did, and he admitted it himself. What his weakness was, he said his weakness was pretty women. So it's like, you get to selective criticism. Like I'm saying, man. I mean, Sheila, she seems to be, like I said, after Prince's passing, she's out there. She's doing a lot of what I would call purple things. She's making the lemon cake, and all that stuff. Musically and talking more about Prince. And I sat back and thought about it and said, well, if somebody that pushed my career like this, even though we might have some beefs, died. I mean, because death is permanent. You find yourself talking about them more now than you probably would if they were still alive, because it touched you in a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Like today, like I'm a Kobe Bryant fan, man. So things touch you. You think about people after they pass, and you didn't know that you felt that deeply about them until it's too late. They're gone, and and you just kind of like, wow, man, I wish I'd have said this. I wish I'd said that. We don't know. Like, we don't know if they were beefing when he passed or if they was cool when they passed. Don't know anything. I thought I was shocked when the Time played at Paley Park because I thought that they wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so, I mean, and this might be a chance for her to, continue to tell her story, and maybe she will speak on, what happened between the two of them. It kind of reminds me of like when Jesse Johnson was at the last, celebration?
Right.
It was people, people had some things to say about him, but I thought it was a great opportunity for him to get it out, and to talk about the good, the bad, the whatever. But he was somebody who had been around Prince at that particular time, and there was some messages out there, and he got a chance to say his truth and to maybe, get it off his chest or whatnot. But he in my opinion, he didn't disrespect Prince and all that. And me personally, I don't have a problem with a lot of these cats from back in the day talking about their experiences and time with Prince, whether it's if they was the musician in the band or they was in a relationship or whatever. I like to be able to hear all these things so that I could, put them all on the table. And, it helps to give a little more light or a little more information about Prince, and I can piece it together and I can decide based on how they told these stories, what I believe, or, okay, I can see how that lines up with this. But I would rather be able to have some of this information out there so that we can, as fans, be able to, kind of piece the puzzle together a little bit, because Prince was very private. And, he is not here anymore, so he can't speak on it. So only people who can speak on it are those that were there. I would rather hear her version of the situation than, mine or somebody who wasn't there. And I read all the books, and that's cool. But I want to hear these people. She's like, what, 60 something years old now? Like they the elders of the game. So I want to hear, they may not be here for too long. So I want to hear what it was before they not here no more. Prince ain't here no more. He can't speak on it. So at least let's just get the people that was down, from back in the day and can shed some light from it. I would rather hear them tell it than be deciphered by somebody who was just reading books and very interested in it. Because we can all do that. So let's let our people speak on this shit. And some people, if you got side eye, that's fine. But we don't want to stop them from talking, because for years they wasn't going to talk because Prince was like, nah, I don't want nobody talking about my shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But now he's not here.
So hey, check it out. I respect Prince at the time, protecting his brand. You know what I'm saying? And don't want nobody to talk. But at the same time, that's control over somebody else's their freedom of speech about their life. That includes him. So now that he's not here, and just because we say, well, Prince wouldn't allow that to happen, that don't mean Prince is right. That doesn't mean Prince had the power to stop them from talking. So my thing is, sometimes a person needs to purge, get it out. Like Brown Mark telling the story about, in all these stories, you hear it, you hear pain, you hear love, and you hear the at the end a reckoning of, even though we've been through back and forth, up and down, I still love that cat. You know what I'm saying? And they still, at the end of the story, with whoever's telling it, show love for Prince every time. Right. Because Prince wasn't perfect. We know that.
Nobody is.
We know Prince. We know Prince. You know what I'm saying? We know Prince could be an ass sometimes. So the whole thing is, let's not paint Prince as an angel, in that they're trying to, everybody's just jealous of Prince, and they're gonna tell this negative thing that happened just because Prince wouldn't let them talk. Now they just gonna talk bad about him. You know what I'm saying? No, they trying to tell their story. They're trying to purge you. When somebody suppress your voice, that ain't cool either. You know what I mean? So I understand, the branding and how Prince was, but at the same time, he preached freedom, emancipation, and all of that. And maybe some of the artists that worked with him feel a little emancipated to tell their side of the story that has not been told because they couldn't talk at all. You dig? So
yes, sir. Yes,
I'm
sir.
like, let them tell it. Now, like I said, if it's disrespectful, and we know how to judge if it's disrespectful or not. But if they just telling a story, you know what I'm saying, we might look at like a few parts and go, eh. And plus, if you're doing anything for television or whatever, they might kind of fluff some stuff up, some parts up. We know how they do in TV. But I just want to hear the story, you know what I'm saying? Because, it's about Prince. We love Prince. And, hey, I love Sheila, too. I think she was one of the coldest, most underrated female musicians of all time.
Yeah.
So, it is what it is. Like I said, today, you got Alan Lee's birthday today.
Oh, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? Wendy and Susanna's birthday today.
Oh, really?
A few days ago,
that's why I'm seeing their picture. I was tripping. Okay.
Yeah. A few days ago, Brenda Bennett's birthday.
And then you got it was Susan Moon's birthday a few days ago. Wow. So it's like all this acute, it's like all these people got a story. When I looked at it, all these people have a Prince story that I don't know about. Right. See, I feel a little more intrigued. I want to hear different people's stories because different phases of his life, whether it was the NPG where Rosie Gaines met him, or Candy Dofer, or the NPG musicology band, all of them got different stories because Prince was a different guy at each phase of his life.
Right.
So, it's the total picture. You know what I mean? So, hey, I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? At first I was part of the Purple Police, what you talking about Prince for? You know what I'm saying? Why don't y'all do it yourself? That type of thing. But after looking at it, man, and Bootsy having an anniversary and George Clinton about retire, it's like these people's story need to be told, and sometimes they can't tell the whole thing themselves. Like, unfortunately, Prince was writing his story, writing a book, and he passed before he could finish it. Which is a tragedy within itself. So we as a fan base, I understand protecting his legacy and help pushing it, but the people that actually played with him, that was close to him enough to me, their stories are intriguing to me. I'm sure Tajah Seville got a story.
For sure. Lenny, I'm gonna cut you in for a second because we get little calls in. I want to make sure we get everybody an opportunity to call in. But the Purple Underground, ladies and gentlemen, please go check out their channel. Check these brothers out. I got a lot of love for them, a lot of respect, and they put in a lot of good work. Lenny, sir, thank you for coming in and breaking down this stuff tonight. All right.
Hey, man, it's an honor, man. Appreciate you, brother. One love, baby.
All right. Take care, sir.
Cool. Real quick before you go next caller, I dropped in the chat who I think is Sheila E. Harrison Guardiola. She played man, I can't think of her name. She played the Hispanic girl in the Get Down. And he was mentioning about, people that are telling these stories about Prince and whatnot. And that, as long as he's being respectful and not bashing them, I think we can't put, in my opinion, we can't put conditions on it because there might be some hard truths to their stories that you might not like hearing about what Prince did. We read Morris's book. We read Maite's book. We read Brown Mark's book. As much as we love Prince and laud him for being one of the greatest musicians of all time, he did some asshole-ish things. And we just got to be able to accept that the man wasn't perfect. There's no perfect human being. He has his faults. And whatever story you might hear from these people that paints him in a bad light, you just got to accept it. We've all done some dirt, in my opinion. We've done somebody wrong.
Right. I feel you. Caller 909 area code. What's your name and where you calling from?
My name is Rasheed. I'm calling from San Bernardino. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing good. This is my first time catching you guys live. I appreciate you guys for everything y'all done. I've seen previous podcasts you guys done, and it's great.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. What's your thoughts on the Sheila E situation?
With that being said, no disrespect, but before Sheila E, I want to see either Morris Day biopic or Vanity.
Okay, I feel you on that.
I want to see that first.
Okay.
Because for one, they're gonna do Sheila E on Lifetime, and it's gonna suck, and I don't want to see that.
Why they gotta have Sheila on Lifetime? Why you think?
Hey, tell them TLC one was good.
Because they just screwed up Salt and Pepper, so why not? So whatever they do, it has to be Netflix or Hulu worthy because there's a lot of stories and history behind this, so it has to be good. So I'd rather see either Vanity or Morris Day before Sheila E.
Okay, I'm not mad at that. I would love to see a Morris Day based thing. That would be dope.
And Jimmy Jam and all of them come together and to tell a good story, because there's stories beyond stories with them too. So that I would rather see that instead. No disrespect to Sheila E, but I'd rather see that instead.
Okay. But that would be interesting. And you brought up some interesting things like you saying Sheila would be on Lifetime. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if they had the Morris Day, if they made a movie out of his book, and that was on Lifetime. I'm not saying they should, but I'm just saying, like, where else would they have these? I mean, most of these, movies have been on Lifetime or BET. BET did a real good New Edition. And the
that was good.
Bobby Brown movie,
good.
I
And
thought,
the Bobby Brown.
Yeah, those were excellent.
Right.
Yeah, but I could definitely see a Netflix one would be dope. Of course, Netflix has the Prince documentary that's in the making right now, right?
Yeah. So as long as it's done right, we deserve that. If you're not going to do a Prince movie, just do his cohorts done right. That's all we ask for.
Yeah, could you see somebody playing Prince in some sort of movie?
You know what? That's a hard one. One. I'm so happy they didn't go with whatchamacallit. I forgot his name, but I'm so happy they didn't go with him. But it's hard to pick out who's gonna play Prince.
Yeah, I for a long time I used to say, and I can't remember. God, now I'm blanking on this brother's name. He was in the movie Moonlight, but he was in something else too. Now I'm gonna sound crazy, so I'm gonna just leave it alone. But he's a cold actor. I could see him playing. He's light-skinned dude. I haven't seen him in nothing recently. I can't think of his name. But yeah, I think there are actors that could play Prince. I am of that type of thing. There's dope actors out there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And like I said, as long as it's done right, it's gonna be good. They should work on that first and then work on the others. That makes more sense. Why you would come up with something else right in the middle? Why would you come out with like a Sheila E or Morris Day before Prince? That's like coming out with the Jackson 5 before Michael. Like VH1 did, how they all brought it together. That was a good one. So
which one are you talking about?
Many avenues.
You said VH1. What are you talking about?
How VH1 did the Jacksons.
That was ABC.
Yeah,
showing it on VH1.
How VH1 did the Jackson 5 biopic?
No, I think that was on ABC originally, I believe. That was old school.
Oh, that's right. My bad. That was on,
Yeah, that was dope. That was a good. Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I need to go and try and find that. I don't know if that's on streaming or it's on Blu-ray or something. I need to get that.
Coming on VH1. That's why I said it come on VH1 all the time, along with the Temptations.
Oh yeah, that's another dope one. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Exactly. So there's many avenues, and just do the man right. That's all. But I'm not going to take up much of your time. I appreciate you guys so much, and keep doing good work.
Thank you, man. Thank you for calling in. I really appreciate that, man. You have a good night. All right.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right.
Now, to his point, what could be an interesting biopic is if they did the Revolution members, how they came and got to where they were before Prince, and going on that whole Purple Rain, Around the World in a Day, Parade, Sign of the Times session, and then ending with that last show in Tokyo.
Yeah, I can see that as well too. That would be good. I actually want, and let me bring in another caller. Hold on one second, caller. But somebody mentioned Andre Simone in the comments. I would actually love to see a Prince movie from the perspective of like Andre, Mr. Terrence Jackson, like the cats that was around him early on, and you really got to see like the child Prince, teenager, and then hitting the big time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really want them real, like, the kid's story and the father's story and that type of stuff. I think to me that would be so fascinating because, it's one thing to look at a person who's a superstar and what's their life like. It's sometimes hard to relate to that, but you can all relate to the rags to riches type of thing, like where you saw like the family situation and how they was able to rise from that and become this big thing. You dig? So that's something I would love to see. Caller, you calling from 405 area code? What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Meiling, how are you?
Oh, is this not the lady who I got the shirt on, is it?
Yes, there's only one Meiling, right?
How you doing?
I see you got the shirt on, the Yes We Code fundraiser shirt on.
That's what's
Thank
up.
you very much, representing
sure.
Mr. Dean and Pooh.
I said, what's up?
How y'all doing?
We're doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hanging in there, man.
Okay.
COVID and all, we're all hanging in here.
Well, just to give some quick perspective on who we're talking to here, there's a podcast episode here on the channel that you can listen to. And Meiling tells the story of how she knew Prince back in the day and how, in her opinion and words, Little Red Corvette is somewhat inspired by her. And she is the original Little Red Corvette. So I want to make sure we put that out there so you know who you're talking to in context. With that said, Meiling, what do you think about this Sheila E announcement?
Well, you know, when I had my radio show, I interviewed Sheila back in 2008 when she was doing that Gone Country segment, you know, when I had my radio show on talk radio in Oklahoma City. And, you know, I was a fan of Sheila's. And I had bought her book. I haven't read it. You know, I read like maybe one chapter.
Did you just say you was a fan? What happened?
I was what? No, I was a fan. I still am a fan.
Okay.
But I'm saying even back then, because she was, I mean, Sheila E was part of the whole Prince, you know, vibe. So, but, you know, I'm writing a book, so what can I say? My thing is that everybody has the right to tell their story. And Prince was a part of my life. He was a huge part of her life. And I grew up in St. Paul and Minneapolis, and I grew up with Jerome and Andre and all of them and went to the same clubs, and that was our thing. And that was my experience. So everybody has a right to tell their story. You can't just delete somebody because fans don't want you to put them in. I mean, you just can't. That would be like me deleting my father because I didn't like some of the things that he, you know, happened in my mom and his relationship. So you have every person that you're involved with in your life changes who you are in some kind of way. And my relationship with Prince changed me, and I'm sure it changed him because, you know, we grow or we don't, you know, we grow, we experience things and we learn from them and we move on. And when we're, like you were just saying, when we were there, he was just another guy in the neighborhood that had a record deal. So, you know, we weren't looking at him as the superstar Prince. He was Prince and Andre, just like Jerome was Jerome and Jimmy and Terry. And Gary Hines and Sounds of Blackness was the bouncer. You know, this is a whole different world than what everybody else understands, but that's where it all started from. That whole vibe at the Foxtrap and all that is a big, huge part of his life. North Side, all of that. So I think everybody, as a journalist, of course, I think everybody has the right to tell their story, their truth.
Right.
And you can read it, take it or leave it, or if, you know, I mean, I worked in the film industry, and trust me, I would love to do a Little Red Corvette version of my life in Minneapolis and the whole scene.
Right.
And I have friends in the business, so it's not far-fetched. But I'm just saying, you know, sometimes you can't really understand it until they put it into film. And then you get to see what the club looks like and what it felt like and the whole vibe and the image and all that. So
could you see somebody playing Prince on screen?
You know, there have been some really good lookalikes, but I mean, somebody could do it. There's some very talented people out there. You know, they're not always going to look alike. You know, that's like Jamie Foxx playing, what's his name?
Ray Charles.
Ray Charles.
Right.
You wouldn't have thought that, but then look at what he did to it.
Yeah,
you actually just lose them and you're in the story. So, you know, I think she has the right to tell her story. And trust me, there's going to be a lot more stories, a lot more books and a lot more things because it's just part of it's part of your life and you want to share it and you want to leave some historical references before we all die. Shoot, I'm 60 years old. None of us are getting any younger.
That's right.
So, you know, why not?
Right. Well, Meiling, thank
Why
you.
not?
You're right. And I want to say thank you for calling in. And I got to put the pressure on you. When's the book coming out, Meiling? We've been waiting.
I have something. All I can say is I have some things in the works.
Okay.
And I hope to be talking about it in the near future.
There you go. Okay. All right.
The book is done, and
it's done.
It's in the hands of people who are looking at it. Yes. So
gotcha.
Now it's the big hurry up and wait game, right?
Gotcha. Yep.
And COVID didn't help. But yeah, I hope to hear something fairly soon.
Okay.
At least with this one particular publisher. So things are looking up. I'm just trying to stay healthy and, you know.
You been doing all right?
Trying to stay healthy. And,
okay.
Yeah, we're good. We lost family members and we've had some people that were relatives have been sick, but yeah, we're hanging in there. You know, my husband's on the front line, so it's scary every day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
So I'm just hanging in there, and I want everybody out there to be safe and, you know, take care of yourself and your family and wear your mask, wash your hands.
Right.
You know?
Thank you so much for calling in. I really appreciate you.
All right.
I'll talk to you later.
Well, I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right, you guys.
All right.
Much fun.
All right. And thank you, Meiling, for calling in. We want to shout out to Love Sexy 71. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate that. We want to make sure I shout you out personally. And Pooh, I know you got some things to say. You've been over there quiet.
I think some really good comments. And again, yes, I'm a little side-eyeing the Sheila story because I feel it'd be more, hey, Prince and Sheila, but you know, same token, let's see what the story is before we fully crap on it and be go into it with an open mind, because yeah, you're gonna hear some things that are gonna destroy what you thought you knew because you know you was there. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's very many, I think there's not that many artists on Prince's level that we don't know. I mean, there was still a lot about Prince we didn't get to learn while he was alive, right? Like you didn't get to see him sort of tell the story. Now, obviously, he started to work on his book, but he didn't get to complete it. But we didn't really get to see a lot from him specifically. And, you know, his contemporaries, we saw them put out different things, or we seen them do movies and stuff that kind of showed a little bit behind the scenes. But with Prince, we never really got a lot of that. You know, even with like Michael, there's a lot of cool little behind the scenes videos that have come out and stuff like that, but you don't really get to see a lot of behind the scenes Prince videos. I mean, you get to see a behind the scenes of him rehearsing or something, but it's always presentation Prince is what I call it. Like it's always him doing his thing. There's very little of him sort of like just chopping it up with somebody, or, you know what I mean? Like just regular type of stuff. He very much controlled, you know, what we saw. So I think anything that we see now is always so like enlightening, like, wow, okay. Then you hear about like how you know, his philanthropy, and you hear about a lot of this stuff. You know, he kept that from people. It's like, I want you to focus on the music. I don't want you to know about me giving money and this and that and the third. So it's just always very interesting to see little things come in. So that's why a lot of these stories now are so cool, because it's shedding a little more light into Prince. And I'll give you a little teaser here. We're going to have my guy Damien from the MPG on the show next. And just I was just kind of talking with the phone, and there's a lot of stuff he was telling me, and I was just like, wow, okay. A lot of people don't, you know, Damien, he was a dancer, but yeah, he's got a very interesting perspective of Prince too, right? Like
now,
go ahead.
I'm gonna have to, you know, be me, my habitual line stepper. Okay. You're gonna get his perspective on that Miko audition, that rehearsal.
We might touch on that. touch it. Want to shout out to Melina Smith for the super chat. She's out there in Australia. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate it. Go ahead. You can say something. Cut you off.
Yeah, Andre Brown. This was a point that I wanted to bring up. He said maybe Miguel would be a good fit. Again, Miguel, he's a very talented singer, songwriter. I've seen a couple of his shows. Really good performer. But I mean, I think the thing we have to take into account is that Prince was a very layered person. I mean, again, as you said, did that show go up where he was talking about how he was on his presentation damn near 24/7, no matter where he was at, that he just wanted to present himself in a certain light. Whenever someone that was not in his inner circle could see him. And the thing is that I feel like there's a lot of layers to Prince that we're just not privy to. There's the musician, there's the real Prince, there's probably the Christopher Tracy, as we like to call him, the Morris Day character that he gave to Morris Day. So there's a lot of layers to Prince that we just don't know. Then there's the boyfriend Prince, the lover Prince. So it's going to take a really talented actor to really be able to portray all of that, because, you know, I'm not a big astrological person, but, you know, Prince was a Gemini, and there was just so many personalities to that man that we're hearing about.
For sure. Shout out to Oscar all the way out. And man, I can't even say what that is, but I can read the South Africa part. Man, that blows me away. Like, I'm here outside of Seattle, and we hitting people all over the world. So thank you, Oscar, man. We feel you. Peace for that, for the love. Somebody asked, and I want you to say, somebody asked, what was the Miko rehearsal thing you mentioned? Can you give a little context to that?
So this was during the Nude tour. They were having rehearsals, and apparently, based on what we can see, there's a video out there where rehearsal tour footage, and the performances are great, by the way. Apparently, Miko's guitar was a little bit too loud. And as we've been told, you know, Prince, he's a very demanding taskmaster, and he didn't very politely tell Miko to get his guitar volume down. So I guess he started just, you know, berating him, and Miko was like, man, pretty much like, man, you talking all that stuff, whatever. So Prince said, well, do something, which if all you know of Prince is what he presents in the videos and his music, when you see About That Life Prince tell somebody, well, do something, it's like, but I was like, damn. Now, the story I read in, I think it was Pierre Nilsson's book, was like his bodyguards are around, so Miko knew better. But based on that rehearsal, I didn't see where the bodyguards, maybe they were off stage somewhere. So to me, it was like Prince was bucking up, like, I'll put my foot in your butt. And Miko said, F you. And the funny part about it is, as Miko was walking on stage, like, I'm just going to take 5. Prince goes, yeah, that's what I thought. Again, it's a whole other side of Prince that we never thought. And Miko goes, F you. And Prince, after he didn't say, that's what I thought. And he's walking away like, yeah. He heard that F you, was like, what did you say? What did you? And he went after Miko. Now, we don't see what happened off stage, but apparently they had to be separated.
Yeah, hopefully one day we will get Miko on the show to talk about it from his perspective. I did ask him about this situation. He has some very interesting things to say about it. But end of the day, they mad cool. They was cool.
I'm sure they were. I mean, they've been together 3 years at that point. I'm sure there was I'm tired of his ish, and that was just the wrong day.
Yeah, and that's just how people get into things when they're doing high level stuff. Sometimes they get a little agitated. That's their brothers and they working, but it wasn't like, it wasn't nothing like.
It's just a whole other side of Prince that
we don't normally see though, right? You're right.
Yeah, the way he was talking greasy, it was just like, whoa. That's what I thought. I was like, damn. And he said that like, you don't want these hands either. You go look it up. Just Prince new tour rehearsal, Miko, you'll find it. I think it's at the 1:10, the hour 10 mark.
Yeah, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
I think I watched it like
one of those things where you don't know, you would not expect that out of Prince, because again, just of what we've been presented with of Prince, that'd be the last thing you thought, like, wow, he was really okay. Prince was like, now I'm saying he wouldn't whoop Meek or nothing like that, but it's just like, okay, he was a real cat. Like,
he was ready. He was ready to put hands.
Ready to
I don't know if he was gonna win, but Miko would have known he was in a fight.
Hilarious.
Sometimes you don't, and let that be a lesson. Sometimes you don't have to win the fight. You just have to let them know they was in a fight.
Mm. Well, you know, as we're talking about, you know, people doing these biopics of Prince, you know, that's why I would, and somebody mentioned earlier, the Morrison stuff. I would love to see, you know what I would love to see? I would love to see the time movie. Like, that would be tight, actually. It'd be a movie about the time, so you could have, you know, obviously Morris, Jam and Lewis, Jesse, Monty, all these guys, and he's telling it from their story. And you would, of course, have to have Prince in it, but it would be cool because then you could have Prince. He wouldn't be the main focus of it, but he would be like this guy who started them and did everything. But obviously these guys sort of rising from that, like trying to, you know, and their whole little thing amongst them, and then they break up and each person sort of goes their thing. That would be a fascinating type of story, man. Like, because all of them sort of go into this whole thing, right? Like, you'd see Jam and Lewis become what they did. You see Jesse go off in his thing, Morris, and Prince he wouldn't be the main focus, but he'd be a very strong focus of the movie. And you would see his influence, and, you know, it would be a good storytelling to see the sort of the conflict between them. You could have the whole food fight thing, the firing of those guys, some of the stuff out of Morris's book. There's probably a lot of stories that we don't know of all of those guys. Go ahead.
For me, it'll be interesting to see two aspects of it. The fact that I don't know if this happened or not, but to kind of see them show up to record the first album or the second album, I should say, because based on Morris, they said they already had it recorded before they got the band together. But let's just say them showing up to record the second album, it's like, yeah, you don't need all that. It's done. You know, I would just love to know. It's like, especially when you got people like Jesse, Jam and Lewis, and Jelly Bean, who on their own are great musicians. And then it's just like, yeah, Prince did all that. Probably better than you would have and whatnot. So, and then the other aspect of it is just to see them working outside, and, you know, with that dynamic was like, because, you know, when you look at Jam and Lewis, for a minute there, some could argue they were hotter than Prince, at least production wise, because of the influence that they were having on the music game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it would be a great, because it ties into so many things. You could see, you know, my thing is like when you can see sort of their branches, how things. So yeah, you'd see the Prince thing, and he could already be, you know, you would know who Prince is, and like, oh, I'm doing this new group, and then you show the branches of how that extends out to Janet, to all these other people, and you're just like, wow. And everyone would get their shine. You know, you'd have Morris, of course, he would be dynamic to see. And to see the Morris that is not the Morris Day character, right? Like to see like the other side of him. He's not just some pimp dude at all times. He's a regular, you know what I mean? Like to see all of that, I think would be pretty fascinating. That would be a dope movie. I think somebody said it could be a mini series or a couple things. Yeah, I could see it as a 2-night thing or something like that.
I'm sorry.
And there's add music that you could play. There's a lot of great performances and music. So yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of conflict. It would be one of those things. Like, remember when the New Edition movie, and we were all like, so I was the shocked, like, you know, Ricky Bell was on that stuff. Like, what? So who's, you know, there might be some stuff like, damn, that was going on with such and such. I had no idea, because I remember, I'm really gonna date myself. I remember when there was a headline, it was on BET, and it was something about Jesse Johnson. And it was like something where he was like, I'm paraphrasing, I'm old, but I remember it was like he pulled a gun out on it was his wife or a girlfriend or something. I know some of my old timers, somebody in the chat can tell me, but there was something that was happening. Like if it happened in today's world, it'd be all over Twitter and all over. But Jesse had something going on, man. I was like, it was some other stuff was popping off. But it's be little stories like that we don't really remember or never were told that I'm sure they had. You know what I'm saying? It would be dope in a story. And it ain't about if somebody said that they don't need the money. It's not about the money. Obviously, it's about telling the story. It's like shit. Dr. Dre didn't need the money to be doing that movie Straight Outta Compton, but it was a success. We want, it's a great story. You know what I'm saying? So it's just about putting a story out there and monetizing it and taking the opportunity, just like everybody else be doing. And my mom said something to me the other day when we were talking about Salt and Pepper, and she was like, they never had these types of movies on the groups when I was growing up. And I was like, you know what? You're right. And it's dope that we can have these movies about these groups that were dope to us back in the day, like a Salt and Pepper movie or Roxanne Shante or this and that and the third. And we're doing that with the hip hop stuff, but let's not let them pass over a whole generation of the 80s type Black music. Those need to have movies too. I want to see the Sherelle Alexander O'Neal movie. You dig? I want to see the Luther and all these guys are dope, man. Like they should have all this, and we want to see.
How is there no Marvin Gaye or Stevie Wonder flick? I mean, I'm just.
Well, there was a Marvin Gaye movie never came out. I'm very
right.
Yeah, but you're right. But you're right though. Yeah.
Shut up, Des MCM. He said, I guess he was just commenting when we was talking about Miko and Prince. He said, "She, them Northside MPLS dudes ain't no punks." So,
right. I see Big Sexy in the chat room. I don't know if he wants to jump in. Again, ladies and gentlemen, call in 216-965-9302. The lines are open. We're gonna hang around just a little bit more. And shout out to I see a couple of cash apps come through. Thank you so much for that. Definitely appreciate that.
Marvin's wife is releasing a book, according to Meiling.
There are a couple of Marvin books out there that I need to check out. One of them I got on my Audible. I just haven't listened to it yet, and I still got to listen to the Lenny Kravitz book. I've been hearing some good stuff about that.
I think like Berry Gordy and that whole Motown. We got a Cadillac Records film. That whole Motown would be good as well.
My man said that whole Motown, nigga.
What?
I'm gonna let it go. I'm a little. This is a killer drink, but
what is that? Moscato?
I'm not gonna even say what. I wish. I'm not gonna say what it is, but it's starting to take hold a little bit. So.
Well, I'm just waiting for us to get down so I can move on to this.
What is it? Oh Lord, we're not gonna comment on that.
Lord. I'm sitting over here like, okay, come on,
this
Michael.
is a business, and you ain't too far gone to see that yet.
Relax. Relax. But yeah, so I'm optimistic about the Sheila E thing. I'm more concerned about who is producing this, who's making it. That's the type of thing. She's got the story, but who's going to make this? Who's going to direct it? You know what I'm saying? Who's the cinematography? Who's acting in it? Is it going to be something on Lifetime? Is it going to be on BET? She's trying to go theatrical.
I can't believe I'm saying this. I hope it's on BET because, Lifetime, I want to say they've been 1 for 9. The Leah one was okay. TLC was great in my opinion. I'm not hearing the best about Salt and Pepper, but BET knocked it out of the park with the Bobby Brown and the New Editions films miniseries.
Yeah. Like I said, somebody who would play Sheila E. I can see them casting Sheila.
Harazan Gordalia, or however you pronounce her last name.
Who's this?
That's the one she played Meiling in The Get Down.
Oh,
you remember her? Come on.
For sure.
She's Afro-Latina, Caribbean, like Sheila. She's got Cuban in her, right? I think.
I don't misquote myself.
Okay. Well, she's Afro-Latina, so she can sing, and she's a pretty good actress from what I've seen her in.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, with a lot of these things we've seen, if they make sure they cast Sheila right, and of course you have to cast Prince right, it'd be interesting to see who they have play the other people. And I can see the clowning. That's Morris Day. Like that look like such a, I can already see the tweets now. Like, how are they gonna have him be? That's supposed to be Jesse, or that person or something. So I don't know. There's gonna be some foolery.
They get the guy that played Ralph Tresvant doing Morris Day.
Actually, who they'd have play Morris Day? I don't know this brother's name. He's in Insecure. He played that clown.
You talking about the dude that sips the tea meme?
I don't know. He's always in Insecure. He's like a fool. He was the friend of the brother
of Lawrence. Yeah, that's the dude. When Issa showed up and he was sipping, he was at the door sipping his drink. Like
I can see them casting somebody like that.
You know what? I wouldn't. That would be the worst casting.
And he have like some wig. It'd be a mess. See, that's the thing. That era was so like, how do I say, very specific. I don't know how I would play it because they'd have to wear the makeup and the hair and stuff. If they don't got the budget to care about, what they need to do is make sure y'all go ahead and get Kim Berry to do the hair. Because I don't want to see don't get the people who do Tyler Perry's wigs and stuff.
Yes. Respect the Tyler Perry, but just on that alone, he cannot have anything to do with a Prince fan. I just did a quick Google. Clarence Williams III is still alive. I don't know what his faculties is like, but that would be a nice callback if he played John L.
That would be interesting. Who, and I did this before, but I would have Cat Williams play John L.
John L?
Yeah. Cat Williams.
Well, he got an Emmy, so we know he can act.
He can do dramatic. We saw him when he was on Atlanta.
Yeah.
And I can see him. Yeah. That's right. Somebody said, Mike, that for a logo. You already know, Nino. You already know. Somebody is going to be an anime. You know what?
Right. The guy,
cold move, but they would never do that. But go ahead.
That would help with as far as the casting because then you just need to get the voice. So, yeah.
Right.
He was saying the guy you were talking about in Insecure, he played DJ Yella in Straight Outta Compton.
That's right. And I just watched that movie the other week because I bought the 4K. I hadn't seen that movie in a while. I love that movie, but it's so ridiculous. As I was watching, I was like, this is some fantasy shit. But it's great though. It's just fantasy.
Oh, you talking about Straight Outta Compton?
Yes, it's the Dre stuff. I was like, eh.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. Yeah, I get it. They probably had dope putting hands on Dre, but I still just don't think he was just straight cold cocking people.
Yeah, that's what I said. Just straight up blasting on some blood cats and But anyway, that was a great movie. I would love to see the attention to detail and at least the budget and just the production of something like that for Prince. If you're going to do something with him, that's something I don't want it to be like just cheaply done. And that's my main fear is that it's just not to the level of Prince. Like Prince, in my opinion, did stuff on a high level. Even if it wasn't, like a graffiti bridge or something, but at least when he didn't look dusty. You know what I'm saying? Like he was tight, like his whole look and everything. You know what I'm saying? It was 120%. So that's my thing is like, if you're going to do something with Prince, you got to go all in, man. Because dude was all in. Like They got to be able to show the boots was tight, the clothing was tight, the hair was laid. You know what I mean? Like, that's Prince, man. That, if nothing else, that brother presented himself on a high goddamn level, man. Like, to the end of his days. Like, he was always suited and booted. And I respect that, man. I don't know if that's something that just came from, to me, it reminded me of that old black dude that was always suited and booted. They came around, you know what I'm saying? Like, just that tradition that it was always, the pants was creased, no matter what kind of pants it was. If it was jeans, it was creased. Slacks, it was creased. The hair was done tight. The nails was popped, clean, smelt good, had a mouthpiece. It was just that type of cat, man. And that was Prince, man. Like, every day, like you said, he was on some other stuff. So that's, to me, like, they have to present that. No matter who plays him, he's got to be that cat that was immaculate. He's immaculate.
Okay, you got to come get your man's Big Sexy. You need a proper budget just to secure the music rights. This cannot be done without it. Or the Mankini.
Or the Mankini. Stop it.
That's Prince's legacy as well. But we ain't got to keep getting reminded of it.
Well, and we're going to speak on the Mankini, but again,
we are.
Well, because I'm on one. So.
Okay.
But there's a handful of people that could pull off a Mankini and still get respect out here. Most people, nah, that's a violation. You wilding, like, whose man is this? That's way out there. But Prince did that. We all looked at that and was like, but he still was snatch your girl. He was still immaculate. He had put in so much work that you gave him a pass on that, because that's Prince, yo. He and the roller skates. He's just like, you know what? He earned that. He got
that with the roller skates.
Well, I'm just thinking on a different pedigree. Like, you out there with that, but I'm just saying, like, he was able to rock that and still be macking, pimp, playered out, still clean, still married. You know what I mean? No, you still didn't question it. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh,
we just looked at it. That's how he
gets like, hey, that's that nigga, man. Like, hey, man.
The ladies love it. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. That's a rare. You know what? And some can correct me. We have never seen anybody on that level be able to pull something like that and still get mad, still to the point. And we're talking about, I'm talking about sisters. You know how sisters be with Prince, just how they doing Sheila E right now. A lot of them side-eyeing because they just like, nah, that bitch. Nobody today could be able to pull that and still get that type of love many years later, where they still ready to ride or die. And like, if he was to just say, if he came up to some sisters today, if he was still alive and said, that there on your boot, they snatch that boot off and they draws. So,
one person tried it and we clowned him for it.
Who's that?
Hammer. Pumps in the Bumps video.
Oh, man.
We clowned the hell out of him for that one.
Yeah, Hammer didn't earn that though. That's the thing. See, Hammer didn't earn that. He earned like then dancing, and he can forgive the shoddy rapping because he, but he didn't earn that. I was like,
it's like, oh, what is you doing?
Use your common sense.
I was like, nah, Hammer. He didn't earn that. But Prince earned that. You did.
Yeah. There were some other comments I saw. Some were saying we should tell the story of, if we're going to tell this story, why don't we tell the story of Prince with Madonna, Prince with Kim Basinger. The Madonna one, I'm kind of feeling that, because you got two of the biggest icons of the '80s that came together for what we've been told was a fall in Minnesota. She was no Kim Basinger was going to be
Kim Basinger.
Yeah. But Madonna and Prince, that's kind of interesting. It's kind of one of those lost tales we forget sometimes.
Yeah, and that would be interesting. I would definitely like to hear their interactions. Me personally, I would love to hear about Prince and like
I knew he was gonna say Nona Gay.
Nona Gay, Nona Gay. God, it was somebody else. I can't even think of it. But yeah, Nona Gay. Even Carmen Electra, I think, is very interesting to me. Just because of where he was, and her where she coming from. She was a young chick, the white chick coming in on some hip hop, trying to do rap, and he was this superstar. I think that would be a very interesting. I don't know how that would play in today's world, but for my own sort of bizarre sort of thing, I just think that would be very interesting. But I mean, yeah, you could do a whole movie on Prince the Mac. You did. that would be on Lifetime. That would be Lifetime. They just zero in on that type of aspect, purely madness. But yeah, man, I'm clowning a lot, but let me be very clear. Like, we got so much love and respect for Prince and his legacy, man. Like, I would be watching all of this, but I would really want to just see, like I said earlier, I would want to see the evolution of this young boy and how he navigated, some of the family dysfunction and the love from the neighborhood and the people around him that gave an opportunity and space for him to become what he became. That's personally what I would love to see that, because I just think that generationally for kids and to be able to see, like, it don't matter what you go through. If you was to dedicate yourself to something and there's going to be a cost for it. I would love to, and I would think you would show, like, at least mention how it ended. But I think just to see that whole trajectory, I think that's important, man. Like, to just, so the next person doesn't succumb to some of the trappings that Prince went through. Same with the Whitney. You know what I'm saying? I think those should be like lessons learned type stories. Just like, yeah, they rose to the top, but they didn't leave us on the top. You know what I'm saying? Because they should still be here. And it'd be a situation to show you, like, you should still be alive. Like, where did they, like, go on a different way or whatever, you know what I mean? And that's the type of story that I would personally love to see. So anyway,
in my opinion, I'd want this to be a series, because there's just at most a 2.5 hour movie for a biopic. You're probably not going to go much longer than that. You're going to miss out on a lot. So I just feel like some people will say this is a downgrade to go to streaming, but it's 2021. People are consuming media in various forms other than going to the film. So just to be able to really give us some key interactions to really tell those stories, like you said, him before the fame, him rising to prominence, like Rick James and him being on the road for Rick James, that could be 2 to 3 episodes alone.
That would be dope. Yeah.
So I vote for a series. If you can get 4-season, 10 episode series, I'm going with that.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, for sure. But if nothing else, these stories and circumstances need to be shown. I've been falling down the rabbit hole recently. I'm changing it just a little bit. I've been listening to. There's this podcast. I think it's called. I don't know. It's about Guy and New Jack Swing.
Really?
I don't know if you put me. It's narrated by Taji B. Henson. Is that her name?
Taraji P. Henson? Yeah.
Yeah, it's good, man. Like it's got interviews with. It's called Jacked, and it is a story. It's the story of Guy. And I knew some of their story, but I didn't know it like this. And it's a multi-episode podcast about Guy and New Jack Swing, and it goes deep, man. It's got all of the people. Well, it doesn't have Aaron. I don't hear him on there, but it's got Teddy, Timmy Gatlin,
those people. Yeah.
Damon, and it talks. There's episodes about Gene Griffin. You know, if you know who that is, the original Suge, and all of that stuff. That's like dope to hear, man. And I'm like, God, I want to hear. I want to see the Prince version of things like that because it's a rich story there, man. Like this dude was amazing, man. Like, and so I think we're at a time now where there is a lot of opportunities to tell these stories, get them out there. Excuse me. And as we saw earlier tonight, we had was it Deja? She was 18 years old, just got into Prince a couple years ago. And I'm glad that there's kids that are just coming into this. And there's a wealth of stuff that they can get into, whether it's from the music, the videos, story, podcasts like this or other stuff out there. We need to tell these stories, man. They're important. They're inspiring. They may inspire the next person to do their thing, and like they'll look back and like, man, I just got into this guy named Prince, man. And like, this dude was working his ass off and he had his band was tight. He was tight. Whoop-de-whoop. You know what I mean? Like it may inspire them to go on and be on a whole other level with it. You know what I mean? So it's important that these stories, that's why I say it's important for Sheila E to tell her part of it too, man, because it may not speak to you, the hardcore fan and stuff, but it may speak to the kid that might just get into it. Maybe they just heard about this and like they might get fascinated by that and want to delve into who is this guy she's talking about, or what I've heard about Prince, but what is this? So I think all of this sort of leads into that, man. And to me, that's the most important thing, is that we can do that type of stuff. What does it say here? Shit, I wish I wasn't. I'll be Damien at a guy. Let me get my little acting chops on. But anyway, I think we're gonna wrap this thing up. Oh, am I frozen again? Damn, I'm sorry. I get to talking. I ain't paying attention. You got one. This is the last opportunity. If you guys want to call in, to definitely call the number. We'll take some last minute phone calls, and we're gonna wrap this thing up and get up out of here before we really get to talking crazy. With that said, please, if you haven't already, join our Patreon page, patreon.com/podcastjuice. If you are a YouTube person, if you join the Patreon, or if you even just if you just subscribe to our podcast feed, you're going to get these podcasts early and on time. But if you are a Patreon person, you're going to get the shows early. You'll get some shows that do not make the YouTube channel, and you'll support the website. Now everybody's calling all of a sudden. Hold on a second. Caller, you're on the line.
Hey man, hey, you know what? I called in earlier and I left a piece out of my story.
Okay. What's your name? Tell me your name again.
Stephen from Milwaukee.
Yes, sir.
And I wanted to point out that Sheila E, I just joined the Army. I was at Fort Dick, New Jersey, and they had a station called Power 99 out of New York City. And I heard her song, Glamorous Life. Sheila E gave me my first involuntary orgasm. I just wanted to say that because you said you was going off the air.
Okay.
I was getting that.
You had to get that in. All right.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate you sharing that. That's wild. Sheila E was bad. I mean,
that's the real deal, bro.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing Sheila on that Purple Rain tour, and I was like, I had never seen nothing like that before because she had that kind of lace see-through outfit. You remember that? And
man, listen, bro, I remember it like it was yesterday. Matter of fact, I gotta go.
All right, I appreciate you calling in for that one.
I love you, bro.
I love you, sir. All right.
Oh Lord, okay.
Hilarious. Oh man. Hey, I ain't mad.
Now we need a screener, apparently.
Listen. Sheila E was when she first came out. Lord. That's why I have to watch myself when I get to clowning on some of the younger chicks of today doing their thing, because I gotta remember, Sheila E, Prince back then, it was on some other stuff, man. They was on some other stuff. We'll take one more caller. There was a couple people who tried to call in at that time. We'll take one more caller, and then we're gonna get up out of here.
Oh, yeah. Hold up. American King. Prince couldn't have been that close to Sheila. No, he said Prince couldn't have been that close to Sheila E. She wasn't in Purple Rain.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't understand the logic of that, but
yeah, I'm gonna need some receipts on that. I don't think everybody made it in Purple Rain. Let's just keep that 1,000.
Caller, you are on the line. Where are you calling from?
Houston, Texas.
Okay, what's your name, man?
Des. Want to say what's up to Michael Dean and Ampu.
What's up, Des?
Yeah. I'm 18, and when I heard like the 18-year-old caller call, I kind of related to it, because I do wish that a lot more, younger people did get into Prince. I feel like it's a lot to be tapped into and explored through his catalog.
Yeah, man. What got you into Prince?
My uncle actually went to Paisley Park at one point and recorded a kind of like a different version of Strange Relationship.
Really?
And his name is D. Holly, and he went to Paisley Park, and Prince worked with him on it, let him do the remix, and actually called down to a Houston radio station, and they played it. I was pretty young, and he would tell me about Prince music and trying to get me into it, things like that. And at first, being young, I didn't really get into it. But as I got older, around middle school, I started to look at videos that I could find, because you couldn't really find it on YouTube for a while. And I went to a Prince forum, and at one point I was a real young person. I was one of the youngest people in a Prince forum, and they let me in with open arms and kind of schooled me a little bit, gave me some knowledge, gave me some background, gave me some things to listen to. And I went to Best Buy one day, and I bought the very best of Prince that I still have. I still have the CD
to
this day.
Yeah. That's what's up, man. So, do you have any? Have you ever listened to any of his albums or anything like that?
Yeah. I actually collect a lot of Prince memorabilia, stuff like that.
Really? That's a trip to me, man.
Yeah. I have some sealed cassettes, some things like that. Yeah.
What's
some cassettes?
Cassettes. He said that. Yeah. What's some of your favorites? Is there favorite songs, or start with that?
One of my favorite albums would probably be The Gold Experience.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
That's good to hear, man. Damn. Okay. So I now I feel like there's hope in the world. This is tight, man.
Yeah. I play guitar because of Prince. I picked up a Telecaster at Guitar Center, my local Guitar Center, because of Prince. Because I would see him with that Mad Cat, and I would be like, man, I love that Mad Cat.
Wow. Okay. See, this is what I'm talking about, right? What you talking about? You're inspired to pick up an instrument. Damn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving this, man. 18, Houston. I'm sorry, tell me your name again.
Des.
Des. And your name. You know who your name is, right? Like when somebody says Des in the Prince world. That's what's up.
Dickerson,
man.
shout out to Des.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Have you been to or you have any plans? Obviously it's COVID, but you should go to Paisley Park, man. You should walk in that building.
I've been really wanting to. I talked to my mom about it.
Yeah, man. You should walk in. When you just walk in there and see, excuse me, just when you just, for me, it was like when I walked in that door, I was just like, damn, this is like, if you was dedicated to something that you was into, this could be the end result of it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you just see the whole thing like, damn, this brother had his own goddamn studio, like all these rooms and all this shit. Yeah, man. Man, Des, thank you so much for calling in. You just made my night, man. I dig this.
Yeah, no problem. Can I say one more thing?
For sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you guys think that we'll ever see Extra Lovable be remastered and released?
It's a good question. I would hope so. I would hope so. I think so at some point. You know, I can understand why they didn't put it out, but I think that the song it's so good, and you could just easily like mute that, you know, what he's saying right there if it's that big of an issue. But I think it should come out at some point. You know what I'm saying? I love that you asking a question about that. That's just like super tight. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you can hear Aunt Pooh, but I'm gonna let him answer, and I'll tell you what he said. Go ahead.
I don't know. I've never heard that song.
I can't really hear Aunt Pooh.
That's be applicable.
All right. Well, man, Des, anything else you want to add, Des?
No, just hope that more people like my age and even younger, you know, get into Prince, and I hope through this podcast, you know, it reaches younger people too as well, you know. So yeah.
All right. Well, Des, thank you for calling, man. You'll be the last call tonight. Really appreciate you for checking us out, man. And stick around with us.
No
man.
problem.
All right. You take care, man.
You too.
All right. Peace. All right. There you go, man. We got to end it with Des right there, man. 18, listening to Prince. He said his cousin or uncle. That's a whole other story. He was in the studio with Prince working on a remix of Strange Relationship, but in being inspired to go get a guitar and to learn it and get out here and do his thing. That's what we're talking about, man. That's why we got to keep this thing going.
Yeah.
You did. So yeah, beautiful.
You know, I find it funny how you say that you get inspired by these young people that are taken to Prince. And I'm just like, but bruh, look at you. Wasn't Sly and them before your time, and you went back and you got that music? So I think, you know, good music, regardless of who it's from, regardless of where it's been, is just going to stand the test of time, and it's just going to engage people. I mean, it's funny now because, you know, my two oldest, they're my stepkids, and my oldest one, she's about to be 21, and every time I turn on the Prince song, she'd be like, "That's Prince, right?" You know, and she's just gotten so used to it where she hadn't heard Prince prior to coming to live with me, and I'm glad to see that I'm having that influence on her, that she's recognizing good music and good music that I appreciate, and I don't try to put it on her. I'll just, you know, I'll be like, I'll play a song, and she just be like, "Is that Prince? That's Prince. Is that Prince?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I'm gonna go ahead and say it. My firstborn, she came into this world listening to Adore. So there's always gonna be that Prince connection, and that's gonna be her song.
Right on, right on. Well, all right, we're gonna wrap this thing up, man. It's been a couple of hours, but I think this was good. This was some good stuff. We got to hear from the people and hear their perspective. Ladies and gentlemen, again, once again, we implore you to check us out on patreon.com/podcastjuice. If you are on YouTube, please like and subscribe to this. And I'm also say, please share this out to other Prince fans out there. I see somebody saying they're 17-year-old. Yeah, introduced me to Sly and George Clinton. Absolutely. Go check out them brothers, man. You listen, see these cans I got on my hair right here? These are my joints. Like I can just sit here at home and I'll fall down the rabbit hole, throw on some Sly, Earth, Wind and Fire, Prince, of course, and just get transported, man, and really listen deep into it and just like get soaked in and just be grooving. Just like, it just feels so good. Matter of fact, last night I sat back and listened to the Voodoo album by D'Angelo, which has been like 20 years ago, which is ridiculous to me, but I forgot how dope. I mean, I know the album was dope, but I just fell into it and he's another guy you should listen to because he's obviously a student of Prince and he just like oozes out. You could hear the influence, especially in the vocals and just layered and stuff. And I'm going down a different path. But amongst to say is definitely get into some music, appreciate some music. We appreciate y'all for joining with us tonight live. Aunt Pooh, sir, how can they get hooked up with you?
Twitter and Instagram at Aunt Pooh. Find me on Clubhouse too. Some great lively conversation. We're gonna be starting up some podcast juice rooms, breaking down some Prince songs and albums. So hopefully y'all find me there. We can chop it up.
All right. And go ahead.
I was like, Shaw Christopher, I see you up on there, so you better join the room.
Shout out to our Discord family. We get it. We get the clowning and having a good time over there. But I love all those people, everybody over there. Much respect to them. Thank you all for listening and joining us tonight live. Please be safe. What were you about to say? What you laughing at?
Gotta take it off there.
The last thing I just want to say is, listen, you ain't never promised. I must sound corny here, but you ain't never promised another day, right? So whatever it is that you've been thinking you're supposed to do or you've been wanting to do, go do that shit. And let me look into the camera. Which camera? Go do that shit. Whether that's telling somebody you love them, you always wanted to go do this. A lot of people, I want to do a podcast. Do it today. Go do it tomorrow. I'm telling you, you could die at any time. I don't want to leave it on saying that, but I'm dead ass serious. Like you can be, I'm going to put it off till next year and it could be the next year. Do it. If you get nothing else from what I'm saying, go do it tomorrow. Start it tomorrow. With that said, work it like a job. We will see y'all next time. Peace.